Coming up on today's show, the Tesla Roadster and Cybertruck are officially delayed to 2023 and 2022 respectively as Tesla, just like the rest of the auto industry, struggles with parts availability. Audi reveals the Grandsphere concept car, and Motor Trend raves about both the Rivian R1T and the Lucid Air after getting substantial time with both. These stories and more coming next. This is ecoTEC's ecoTEC Roundup show from New Zealand's only carbon zero certified renewable electricity company. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to electric vehicles in New Zealand. Switch today at ecotecity.co.nz. Welcome back to another roundup in the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. It was 2017 when Tesla first unveiled the second generation Tesla Roadster, colloquially known as the Roadster 2.0, and 2019 when Tesla unveiled the Tesla Cybertruck. Both vehicles have long been exciting Tesla fans, with promised production pushed back a few times in recent months due to several issues like the ongoing chip shortage, COVID-19, and the fact that Tesla is really bad at keeping to Elon Musk's very optimistic timelines. This week, however, Musk gave the bad news that both the Cybertruck and the Roadster will be further delayed, with the Cybertruck expected to enter into production at the tail end of next year, not this, and the Roadster not expected until 2023. And only then if next year is, quote, not mega drama. The Tesla Semi, meanwhile, was already pushed back earlier this year to next. Swedish two-wheel specialist ecoTEC has always stood out from the competition in the electric motorcycle and moped world, thanks to its very utilitarian design of the lineup, which includes mopeds and motorcycle variants of its Osa and Kalk two-wheelers. Now there's a new addition to the family, the Makka, a street-legal moped that ecoTEC hopes will find a home in both Europe and North America. It's designed as a commuter vehicle with a 3.6 kilowatt motor and a range of around 50 kilometers, 31 miles for mixed use. With those specifications, it's not meant to be a hardened biker vehicle, but rather for car drivers who want to leave their car at home. It can be ridden in many markets on a car license, although that does vary depending on where you live. More importantly, it will start from under $4,000. Tesla reportedly held a company-wide meeting this week at which, at least according to ecoTEC, Elon Musk talked about Tesla's long-awaited and much talked about affordable EV. Many fans of Tesla refer to this as the Tesla Model 2, a car Elon Musk first referenced last year during Tesla's Battery Day presentation. At the time, he'd hinted that it would be fully autonomous and stated it would enter into production when Tesla had perfected its new 4680 form factor cells. Since then, we have heard zip from Tesla officially, but at this week's meeting, Musk apparently told staff that he wanted Tesla to begin producing the car in 2023, hinting that he wanted it to have no manual driving controls. Given this rumour comes from an unnamed source and Tesla doesn't have a press department, we should treat this one with a pinch of salt, especially given some of Tesla's bad news stories this week and Tesla's propensity to announce new, exciting distractions when the news cycle dictates. It's the IAA in Munich next week, and as such, we're starting to see some of the vehicles due to debut at the event. And just before we filmed today's show, Audi held an event to debut its latest all-electric concept car, the Audi Grandsphere. Not to be confused with the Skysphere sports concept we told you about a few weeks back. It's the latest in a long line of futuristic concept cars from the brand. The Audi Grandsphere is meant to envisage what a fully autonomous vehicle future will look like, and Audi says it's meant to be a private jet for the road that just happens to be all electric. The front seats are very plush, while the rear bench feels a little unfinished. Some say this previews a new stretched all-electric A7, but I think that's pushing it. If you've been following the ongoing saga of the Bolt EV fires and ongoing Bolt EV and Bolt EUV recall, you'll know that after a lot of humming and hawing, GM agreed last week to replace the battery modules in every Chevrolet Bolt EV and Bolt EUV ever made. So far so good, but as customers are starting to get really frustrated, GM confirmed that all Bolt and Bolt EUV production, as well as battery pack production, would remain halted until it's confident confident that battery supplier LG Energy can provide fault-free cells. Right now, I don't think that's happening, and with news of yet another Bolt EV fire happening this week, this time involving a Bolt whose battery was at 30 miles remaining state of charge, I suspect this story is far from over. As usual, we'll keep you abreast of the situation as it develops. This week has been quite the politically charged one in the US state of Texas, as the state officially adopted the country's most draconian and terrifying anti-abortion law, changed gun control law to make it easier to carry weapons in public, and passed anti-voting legislation, as well as tried to push again for anti-transgender legislation. In response to the widespread backlash, Texas Governor Greg Abbott publicly stated that he, quote, frequently talks to Elon Musk, and that Musk told him, quote, he had to get out of California because, in part, of the social policies in California. He added that Musk, quote, constantly tells me that he likes the social policies in the state of Texas. Tesla and SpaceX, also helmed by Musk, both have major investments and operations in Texas. But instead of taking the opportunity to speak out against the new laws in Texas, which are anything but libertarian, Musk said, quote, in general, I believe government should rarely impose its will upon the people, and when doing so, should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness. That said, I prefer to stay out of politics, end quote. It's an awkward non-response that has already upset plenty. As Rivian heads towards customer deliveries later this month, production examples are getting into journalists' hands, and this week Motor Trend got an exclusive amount of time with the luxury off-roader. Calling the R1T the, quote, most remarkable pickup, the publication waxed lyrical about the R1T's many features and its capabilities, from its, quote, killer powertrain and suspension to its huge amount of power at the wheels and sprint time. But when taking it off-road, the team of seasoned auto journalists at Motor Trend praised its torque vectoring, attention to detail, included full-size spare, and ease of changing a flat. It was, however, less impressed with the R1T user interface, criticising how, like Tesla, pretty much everything is controlled by the touchscreen tablet in the centre of the truck's dash. We seriously cannot wait to get some time behind the wheel. Even though the R1T got Motor Trend salivating, it also had some more praise to share, this time for the Lucid Air, another car it got exclusive access to this week. Calling the car an absolute mic drop, the publication praised the Lucid Air Edition R and Lucid Air Edition E, and noted that the vehicle inside and out is exquisitely finished. From reading the review, it seems as if Motor Trend viewed the interior as being more classic Mercedes than the Mercedes-Benz EQS, because, unlike the EQS, the Lucid hasn't plastered screens everywhere on the dash. Then again, to be fair, Motor Trend veteran Johnny Lieberman was taken in the air to go and look at luxury watches because apparently that's the kind of thing that you need to do if you're spending a huge hunk of change on the Lucid Air Sedan. But again, I cannot wait to get behind the wheel. While the Ford F-150 Lightning won't go on sale in Europe, there's been a lot of interest across the continent in the more common choice for commercial vehicle owners, the all-electric Ford e-Transit. This week, we finally got the official pricing for the same in the UK. While it will be the first all-electric Transit in the Transit's nearly 50-year history, it will also be one of the most expensive Transits ever made, with a starting price of £42,695 sterling before incentives, and before taxes, because in the UK, commercial vehicles are priced without purchase tax. That's the equivalent of nearly $60,000, and frankly it's a bit of a disappointment considering that the US variant will start from just under $45,000. As we've barreled past the point of no return when it comes to stopping the effects of anthropogenic climate change, we are now in a world where mitigating the worst of those effects is super important, and transitioning to EVs is a great way to help. But former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair's Institute for Climate Change has just published a report stating that carbon dioxide emissions aren't the biggest challenge facing the UK. Rather, congestion is. It proposes road pricing, effectively pay as you drive, to reduce congestion and reduces people's driving, while also maintaining a healthy income for the UK Treasury. because EVs don't pay road tax. But sadly, any pay-as-you-drive system would allow those with deep pockets to carry on polluting as before, while simultaneously penalising those who are on lower incomes and traditionally have to live further away from where they work. In the automotive world, it is long known that making a special edition of a vehicle based on a popular or successful race car is a fantastic way of bringing in some extra cash, even if said version was a little more than a few tweaks to the drivetrain and an over-the-top body kit. But now Zero Motorcycles is following suit, announcing that it will be making a 100 limited edition run of a Zero SRF with what it's calling the Zero Quickstrike package. Inspired by the factory race build that climbed the lauded Pikes Peak International Hill Climb in 2019, these super rare SRF models will get carbon fibre fenders, lots of anodized metal, and special badging. It will cost you just shy of $1,000 on top of your regular SRF pricing. And finally, the boring company tunnels that connect the Las Vegas Convention Center's various halls to the Las Vegas Strip were originally promised to whisk people from place to place with minimal fuss in practically no time at all, thanks to a fleet of fully autonomous Teslas. So far, every Tesla running through those tunnels has been piloted by a human, with strict rules prohibiting autopilot use. But this week, we learned via TechCrunch that TBC, as it likes to be known, is readying itself to start testing autopilot on its Las Vegas Convention Center loop, as well as increase the number of cars on said loop from 62 to 70. However, while TBC is eager to get everyone riding in an autonomous vehicle, there are still some teething problems. A Freedom of Information request details that less than 2 weeks after the Las Vegas system opened, there was a security breach when a private vehicle entered the tunnel system and drove around. Methinks they might have been playing too much Midtown Madness. And on that note, we are done for the day. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next episode. And if you haven't already switched yet, please consider switching to New Zealand's only Carbon Zero certified renewable electricity company. They make it super easy to switch, and you'll be helping New Zealand wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean, green power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back soon with more great videos for you all to enjoy, but until then, I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite! See you next time.